apparently there's a solution to the high cost of housing in this country. And that solution has nothing to do with lowering the housing prices. In fact, the solution, it's a mortgage, but not just any mortgage. It's a mortgage of 40 years. Welcome back to Nova Rise. I created this channel to share my journey in real estate investing in the stock market, precious metals, and businesses. I hope that the information that I share helps you in your investing journey. Now, let's get down to business and talk about mortgages. For those who didn't know, the most common mortgage products available in this country are 15-year mortgages and 30-year mortgages. However, 30-year mortgages tend to be more popular because of two reasons. One, it offers lower monthly payments, so it makes it more accessible to home buyers. And two, banks get to charge more money in interest, helping them make more money off of your mortgage. It's kind of like a win-win situation for both ends. But we all know that housing affordability is a big issue. Not only we don't have enough housing inventory, there's plenty of demand and interest rates are high, but people are also being squeezed out because of inflation. And in a way to find a solution to all of this problem and provide home buyers with a break, there's this proposal that talks about a 40-year mortgage. And let's find out what is it about and how does it benefit you, and should you even go for a program like that if it were to hit the market. So here's the article courtesy of Yahoo Finance, but it was originally written by Fortune magazine. And as the title says, a 40-year mortgage should be the new American standard for first-time home buyers, two-time presidential advisor says. And here he is, and his name is John Hope Bryant, who once led the largest minority-controlled owner of single-family rental homes in America and served as an advisor to two presidential administrations, meaning that this is not just some random dude who came out of nowhere and made this proposal without thinking about it. This guy knows what he's talking about. He is obviously in the real estate business, and not just that, but he also became an advisor to two presidential administrations. So this guy might have something good to offer here. Let's find out what it is. And as we keep reading, we know that Bryant wants 40-year mortgages to be a thing. Bryant's proposal for first-time home buyers is a 40-year mortgage with a subsidized rate between 3.5 and 4.5%. That's quite interesting, especially in today's economy with the high rates. Now, depending on where you're tuning in and watching this episode, there could be a chance that the rates might be different by the time you're watching this, but having a subsidy of between 3.5 and 4.5%, it's quite interesting. So what does it mean? Does it mean that if the rates are 7%, then you minus that number and then you pay for the difference? We don't know yet, but it sounds really promising, whatever that means, right? So to qualify for this type of program, you will have to complete a financial literacy training. Very important, because you need to know what you're signing. You need to understand what you're doing. And it says that subsidies will be capped at $350,000 for rural areas and $1 million for urban areas. This is great news, especially for those living in big cities like Boston, New York, LA, San Francisco, right? Where housing prices are literally off the roof. Now, in terms of age, there's no cap on age. If you're a 45-year-old with kids who's been renting your whole life, it can be a way to buy that first home and build generational wealth. To Bryant, the 40-year mortgage means lower monthly payments on an appreciating and assumable asset at a moment in time when a lot of people cannot afford to buy a home. I have mixed feelings about this statement. Yes, it is true that when you get a mortgage for a longer period of time, your monthly payments become much lower, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's your cheapest option. Let's just take a look at the numbers. So let's assume this is your mortgage. I know it might not make much sense now, but just bear with me for a second. So you will see that this graph is actually divided by half. So there's this side and then there's this side. So in the first half of your mortgage, every time you make a monthly payment in your mortgage, you're mostly paying interest. Yes, that's right. So all of this, it's mainly interest. And only a tiny portion of your monthly payment is going towards the debt reduction, meaning towards the mortgage paydown. And it's not until the second half of the mortgage that most of your money will go towards the debt reduction. So that means that now you're paying more and more money towards your mortgage. And then the part that goes allocated to interest, it gets smaller and smaller. So when you take a look at this, the longer you remain with your mortgage, the more interest you're going to pay. So let's say, for example, you have a 15-year mortgage, then there's a 30-year mortgage, and then there's this new proposed 40-year mortgage. Half of this is 7.5, half of this is 15, and half of this is 20. So imagine you having a debt, and then you try to quickly pay it off as fast as possible in 15 years. And 7.5 years is when you're going to pay the most interest in it. That just simply means that you are going to make higher monthly payments, but you're going to pay less in interest because you're reducing that timeline. Then when you expand it to 30 years, then you're going to pay lower monthly interest rates. Yes, that's true. But then you're extending that timeline. So that means you're going to end up paying more and more in interest. And then once you get to 40 years, forget about it. The highest percentage of interest that you're going to be paying will take 20 years to pay. That's a lot of years, a lot more than 7.5. I mean, this is just an essence to help you understand how mortgages truly work and how they actually make money off of you with their interest. Now, we don't know what's going to happen as of yet because I understand that there's going to be a subsidy between 3.5 to 4.5%, but we still don't know how that subsidy is going to be applied. Is it going to be counted as a discount, or is it just simply going to be reduced completely from your mortgage and you just have to pay the difference? We don't know that as of yet. So it is better to understand what goes into a mortgage so that you can make an informed decision if it comes the day and where a 40-year mortgage gets approved and available to the public. If you're learning a lot with this episode, remember to hit the like button and also share this video with someone who you know will benefit from this content. So once again, to Bryant, the 40-year mortgage means lower monthly payments on an appreciating and assumable asset at a moment in time when lots of people can't afford to buy a home. The 30-year mortgage wasn't something thoroughly thought out, and it was born out of the Great Depression. And everything needs an upgrade eventually, Bryant said. America has a huge housing problem right now. We all know that. And home prices are high, and so are mortgage rates. There are not enough homes, resulting from years of underbuilding in the aftermath of the great financial crisis and decades of policy failure. Yes, I agree with the latter 100%. And in fact, I actually talk about this more in depth in this video right here that you see on the screen. Feel free to check it out after we're done with this one. Inventory has increased this year compared to last, but we are a far cry from what's needed to end the housing shortage. Yes, I agree with it 100%. And once again, I talk about it in depth in this video that you see here on the screen. And accordingly, the 40-year mortgage won't work on its own. It needs to work in unison with more supply. So for this program to work out, there needs to be more housing inventory available. So here's a question for those who are actually opposing the proposal. Does the market have a better idea for solving affordability and broad access, still rooted in free enterprise and capitalism? What are your thoughts about the proposal? Do you like the idea? And if you disagree, let me know what would you do instead. I'll be reading your comments down below. And once you've done that, remember to check out this video on the screen that's going to go full in depth about the issue with housing affordability and the lack of housing supply.